What's up, everybody? This is Jeff Meacham. Welcome to Talk Wrestling. You're seeing this on the Network, of course, but also NoDQ.com, the Greg Cherry brand, the network Facebook, the network Twitter. I'm all over the place tonight. Glad to be here. That logo looks like shit right there, so we're just going to move that and put that up and take that down. There we go. Much better. How's everybody doing tonight? Everybody having a good night? Hope you enjoyed Aaron's recap of Monday Night Raw. We'll get into Raw here in just a minute. But coming up on this week's show, coming up right here on this channel within the hour here, We're going to talk about last week's poll, what I put up last week, and what the results were, as well as this week's poll, which is already getting a ton of traffic. We'll get into that momentarily. Recaps of both Victory Road and the first 2 nights of the G1 Climax out in New Japan. That's coming up in this hour, as well as the announced collaboration between All Elite Wrestling and the Owen Hart Foundation. I'll be getting into that during the course of this show. And yes, we will talk about the elephant in the room. Or maybe it's a helicopter. The Dark Side of the Ring broadcast last week. We'll definitely get into that. And of course, we'll end the show with Ask Me Anything. But as you know, Ask Me Anything comes at the end of the show, unless you happen to super chat. Then you might get my attention. So let's first talk about last week's poll, because I put it up last week. It really got a lot of attention. I was very happy that it did, because it was a question I wanted to get answered. And the question I put out there to the universe, if you will, was, which of these men do you believe will dethrone Big E as the WWE champion? Now, Grant, I got a lot of flack for, he just won the title. Why are you trying to take it off him? That's not what I was doing. I was just simply asking a question. Now that Big E's the champion, who do you think is the next champion? Because we definitely want to see Big E have a long, glorious reign. But, the time will come when he will once again no longer be the champion. So, comments that went up on Twitter, I wanted to put up in particular. King_nothing with a very interesting comment. I kind of liked it. Maybe someone else other than the 4 I mentioned, maybe Roman at a unification match. Based on what we saw tonight on Monday Night Raw, Roman versus Big E is not out of a possibility. I'd like to see it. That'd be kind of cool. Our buddy Travis out here, fellow Kings fan, you notice the similar attire in the profile. Hopefully he hangs on to it long enough for maybe a Big E versus Cross matchup. And then he followed up by saying, in reality, I don't want any of the 4 choices to take it. I didn't like Bobby as champion. The champ needs to be good on mic. Drew would just have it to give it to him again, and the champ shouldn't ever be with a guy. The championship shouldn't be with a guy who shows up for 3 shows. So no to the other 2. There you go. And then Brian Mitchell Graphics says it would kind of suck if Lashley wins it back next Monday. Well, that didn't happen, which was nice. And there was a gif from Mr. Spiky Pants, love the name, of Cesaro being the guy to be the one that did Bobby. So it came down to tonight. The poll ended, of course, and the results came in looking like this. So you guys out there watching the Jeff Meacham Network and NoDQ.com and Greg Cherry Show all believe that Bobby Lashley will be the one to regain the WWE Championship. So looking forward to seeing if that plays out. Ironically, I found it fascinating that Brock Lesnar came in last. I thought sure Goldberg would, and I'm hoping that's not an indicator of things to come. Yikes. Okay, so I realize the graphics out of date, so forgive me on this one. But this week's poll is as follows. If I can maybe, where did it go? There it is. Okay, so based on the matches coming up this Sunday at Extreme Rules, I put this out there to you guys out there in the Jeff Meacham Network fandom. And again, I know the U.S. title match is now a triple threat with Damian Priest versus Sheamus versus Jeff Hardy. But which title reign do you guys believe is in the most danger this Sunday? Charlotte Flair's Raw Women's Championship, Becky Lynch's SmackDown Championship, Damian Priest U.S. Championship, which I mentioned is now triple threat, or the SmackDown tag titles. Right now, as I look at this, as I read this right here and now in front of you guys, the poll is moving like gangbusters. It's already got more than a dozen votes, and Charlotte is well in the lead to be the one to lose her championship. So we'll have to see how it plays out coming up this Sunday. Of course, very little promotion I felt for Extreme Rules tonight. I was kind of disappointed in WWE for not getting behind the pay-per-view. And I know they're talking about, Aaron mentioned it just a few minutes ago here on the WQ stream about they're back to the old habits of going after the ratings rather than plugging pay-per-views like WCW used to do way back in the day. A little scary. So that poll is now live over at our Twitter feed. If you're watching on Twitter, thank you. Look below me here, down below the little ticker here. You'll see the poll with the graphic lined up. So check that out over at _Jeff Meacham on Twitter, and we will address that coming up next Monday after Monday Night Raw, of course. All right. I love that this announcement came in. I was so happy to hear that it was a thing, except for one little cynical part of it. And I'll get to that momentarily. Let me go ahead and throw the graphic up there. Let me get my stuff out of the way because I don't want it to take away from what everybody's seen. So bear with me here. There we go. So it was announced today that AEW and the Owen Hart Foundation will enter into a relationship to honor the world-renowned wrestler Owen Hart's legacy. All Elite Wrestling and the Owen Hart Foundation, a nonprofit charity which provides a vast range of assistance and opportunities to individuals in need across the world, are collaborating to honor the legacy of late wrestler Owen Hart, a beloved figure in the professional wrestling community and beyond. This collaboration includes launching the annual Owen Hart Cup tournament within AEW, which will see the winner receive a cup known as the Owen, I guess much like the Burke and the 10 pounds of gold, as well as the production and distribution of unique and original Owen Hart merchandise, including specified retail goods, as well as the upcoming AEW console video game. Okay. I'm almost 100% okay with this. You can't see my face because the thing's over here. Come here, you. We're live, pal. All right. So I almost don't have a problem with this, right? How long have we heard Owen's widow, and I'm not trying to, crap on Mrs. Hart, Martha Hart. How long have we heard Martha talk about that she hates the wrestling business and she wants nothing to do with wrestling? She doesn't want her kids anything to do with wrestling. She doesn't want anything to do with wrestling at all. And then Dark Side of the Ring comes out, and there's Owen Hart merchandise for wrestling tees. And now this. It seems, and again, this is the purely cynical asshole side of me on this one, so I apologize if this comes off anything more than it is. But it seems to me that as long as it's not the WWE, not so much hating on the business. You're going to have an Owen Hart Memorial Cup. You're going to have Owen Hart wrestling merchandise. Owen Hart's going to be in the AEW video game when he never set foot inside an AEW ring. Nor did his brother, nor did anybody in his family as of yet. I find that very, as my son would say, sus. Just terrible. And I don't try. I'm not trying to discredit Martha or shit on the legacy of Owen Hart. I would never do that. You won't hear that on this channel at all. That will not happen. But I do have a problem with this. JJ's got to hit it clear on the nose. It's a big F you to the WWE. That's really what it comes down to, and I think that's just god awful, because that accident could have happened in any wrestling promotion. The way the war was going at that time between the WWF and WCW, how many times could Sting have had an accident? Really? It's because Owen died at the hands of stunt coordinators hired by Vince McMahon. That is why Martha is acting the way she has for the last 22 years. And again, if I come off like a prick, I sincerely, truly apologize for that. I do. But it's wrong that she's denounced the wrestling business for 20 years plus, and now, granted, it's for charity, and it's for the foundation, and I'm all about that. I don't have my Connor's Care thing on right now, but I am all about helping those that need the help. Not saying that at all. But JJ hit it right on the button. It's just the way I feel about it. So take it for what it's worth. Again, I don't. Again, maybe I'm just a cynical old shit. I don't know. Anyway, let me put my little thing back up there. There you go. So, I was going to take a break, but I'll go ahead and bring up the. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get into the news. What the hell? I mean, we all saw the show last week. My goodness. Not a good week to be associated with wrestling once again. This business just keeps getting shit on more. I mean, the whole point of the show is the dark side of the business. Duh, Jeff, I get that, right? I totally understand that. But this plane ride that has been kind of underneath the radar, other than, the internet gossip for the last almost 20 years now, really got exposed wide open on the operating table, man. It was a vicious surgical procedure on a lot of people. Flair got it bad. We're going to talk about Rick's statement here in a minute. I'm actually going to read that, his statements verbatim, because that's what I like to do around here, is actually keep things honest. So, yeah, again, not a good look for the business. Not a good look for WWE, obviously, because it was on their watch. A lot of people that have since either passed on or gotten their proverbial shit together were ripped over the coals. I mean, Dustin Rhodes got it bad again. I love how Terry's just kind of just there. Hey, FaceTime, cool. Again, people were going to say what they want to say. They're going to be what they want to believe about what happened on that plane. And, we pretty much know at this point, unless you allow yourself to hear both sides of the story. Tommy, I love Tommy Dreamer. I do. I always have. But it's the right thing to say at the wrong time. Right? I mean, we're not in a point in our history now where, there should be a Terry Reynolds don't sell it shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees like right now. It'll probably make $1 million. Jeez. Again, I don't. By all accounts, everything that happened on that plane was just a mess. I mean, it's called the plane ride from hell for a reason, but to retrospective condemning has become a major thing in this society the last few years, last decade, I'd say, maybe a little bit more, where, things that were, kind of glazed over and not really addressed are all of a sudden, cardinal sins. And whether it happened or it didn't, the fact is, Scott Hall lost his job because of that plane ride. Kurt Hennig lost his job because of that plane ride. Scott was at a point where he was just not with it. And it would be easy to see why Scott would lose his job. Same with Kurt at the point. You have to remember with Kurt, Kurt's a prankster. He was a legendary ribber. And the problem with that day, that long-ass ride, was that he tackled Brock Lesnar, which you can't touch Brock Lesnar in 2002. You just don't do that. You're going to get your ass suspended or fired because he's the golden child. So you just can't do that. As far as Flair, now I did see all the backlash about Ric Flair, and I did want to read his statement. So let me go ahead and throw the thing up there. That way you guys know I'm talking about Ric here. There you go. He says, every person that I've worked with has said not to post a response, but I've never ran from past behaviors before. I'm not going to start now. I want to clarify a few things. About 4 years ago, I gave ESPN full access to my life for a 30 for 30 special. They covered taxes, financial issues, adultery, divorces, the passing of my child, and drinking/partying at length. Roy Kampf, desperate to matter for another 15 minutes, did another interview about it this morning. When Rory's lips are moving, he's typically lying. But one part of what he said was the God's honest truth. And this is a quote from the filmmaker, Rory Kampf. He said, I never heard that he forced someone to touch his genitals. Kampf admitted. Everything with Rick was construed as negative. I tried to address in a 30 for 30. His drinking, his philandering, his adultery, his money problems, there's quite a bit. But never, at least in the people that I spoke to, no one ever brought up that he would force himself on somebody. I allowed my personal, and this goes back to Rick, I allowed my personal life and the lives of my wife and children to be turned upside down for one reason. Whether it's good or bad, even the really bad, the truth has to matter, even in wrestling. My issues have been well documented over my 40-plus year career. You think about it right now, Ric Flair's coming up on 50 years next year in the business. Let me just throw it out there now. He went on to say, the impact of drinking too much, which nearly killed me 5 years ago, has been told time and time and time again. The reason Rory, or anyone else for that matter, never heard stories of me forcing on myself on anyone is simple. It never happened. That was the initial Twitter statement that he put out. I do want to bring up the follow-up that came shortly thereafter. This all unfolded during the course of Monday Night Raw. All these news stories, all this breaking shenanigans. And Flair then went on to say, he posted the statement on Twitter, and then he issued the following comments to WrestlingInc.com. And I'm sorry to give the plug here. It's on your page, so I wanted to make sure I read it exactly the way it's supposed to be. To clarify, the helicopter, as it was called, is accurate. I wish I could blame it on youth, but it was a case of drinking too much and being inappropriate, and I apologize for that and have countless times over the years. I made some bad decisions during dark periods of my life, and it is something I've spent a significant part of years I was given by the doctors in 2017 trying to make right. I condemn sexual assault in any way, shape, or form. I could and have written books, as have others, that have covered my transgressions. I've made some terrible decisions, but I have never forced myself on anyone in any way, period. So the way I read that, and again, this is me, interpretive reading, if you will, that basically tells me that he may have brought out Space Mountain on that plane, but didn't force anybody into the front of the line. I mean, that's basically what that tells me. Triple H is famous for telling the story of when he first met Rick, when he walked into that hotel in wherever the hell he was at the time, and Flair just in his loafers, and that's about it. And just he had a gimmick. I was at the Hall of Fame. He told the story. The gimmick tied to Space Mountain. I mean, it's just, I'm not condoning what Ric Flair was or who Ric Flair is, but those stories are notorious. But I, like Ric Flair said, I've never heard anything of him forcing himself on anybody, like we have very many others in this industry. So, believe what you will. Take whoever's point of view you choose to put stock in. I think that this program, Dark Side of the Ring, like it has done for the last 3 seasons, did what it was supposed to do. Get people talking, get people's dander up, and raise a fuss. It's exactly what has happened, and will continue to happen as long as we allow it to happen. So, all right. I'm now going to take that ad break I was supposed to take a few minutes ago because I want to make sure I get this one across. So, we will be right back after a word from our friends over at the Casa D Teen Studios. Again, that's all coming up in October over at the Casa D Studios, our good friends. And let me just remind you guys that this month still to come, at the end of the week, on the 24th, we'll have our JJ's review of Man of Steel featuring yours truly as a analyst. But prior to that, there's still more movies in the DC universe. Oh yeah, we got Joker, we've got Dark Knight Rises, we've got Green Lantern, we've got Watchmen, all kinds of great stuff coming up over on the channel, the Casa D Studios channel, excuse me, and you guys should check those out. If you haven't seen those movies yet, they're all on HBO Max, like 99% of them. No excuses. Check them out. Great stuff. All right. I think I went over all the stuff I wanted to cover. Again, Raw was a good show. I enjoyed watching Monday Night Raw, and I don't say that. Aaron said it. I said something. I don't say that very often. I really don't. But I enjoyed Raw thoroughly. He talked me into the A-. I was at a B+, and I was talking to the A-. So I am grateful I listened to the review and really allowed myself to have a more open mind than I did. So there you go. All right. As I said, that banner's running for no reason because it's useless because it's time for Ask Me Anything. That's right. Anybody wants to get their questions in, come on in. I said I would open it up if I got a super chat, and I didn't because poo-poo on you guys. But let's see. Marshall says A- for the show. The wrestling was pretty good for Raw. It was. It was a great. Like I said, it was a really good show for Monday Night Raw. Caleb over on Facebook says, if WWE allowed talent to work with other promotions, who from WWE would you like to see face? Okay, that's more of a show topic type thing, kind of the dream match booking, which again I'm not fond of, necessarily fantasy booking, but I am all about seeing WWE let that forbidden door be open their direction. I mean, the easy answer is see the WWE champion, Universal Champion versus the AEW champion, or the NWA champion, whoever the case may be. So it's it really, I don't think it'll ever happen, Caleb, and I wish it would because it'd be really awesome to see these WWE talents who are touted as the best in the world go up against Kenny Omega, go up against Trevor Murdoch, Nick Aldis, Christian Cage again. All these guys that are on the AEW roster, the NWA roster, the Impact roster. And I realize I just skipped over the recaps of Impact's pay-per-view and the G1, so I will get to that momentarily. Thank you for the mental trigger, I guess. We'll do that in just a second. So, yeah, anybody and everybody is the easy answer, I guess, right? That's kind of the easy choice. So, okay, I forgot about Victory Road. I'm sorry. So let me go ahead and take this down. There you go. Okay, so Victory Road was this last Saturday over on Impact Plus. It was an Impact Plus exclusive, as far as I know. I did get to watch it after the fact. I didn't get to see it live, unfortunately, because I was entangled with tasks around here. But I did get to a chance. Great opener with Steve McLean. I'm surprised PD and TJ both did not win, and they wrestled a hell of a match. Great stuff. You had Laredo Kid in a 5-way scramble. He beat Black Taurus, Jake Something, John Schuyler, and Trey Miguel. Again, somebody you don't really hear a whole lot about in the Impact Wrestling world gets the win. Great stuff. I like a Jordan Taylor Wild one. I love Taylor. I would like to have her on my podcast and me on hers. Didn't work out that way. She beat Samuel Dashwood, of course. Everybody remembers her as Emma from WWE. If you haven't watched Impact in a while, you don't know that, and that's really a shame. Matt Cardona in a no disqualification match defeated. I'm sorry, Rohit Raju. It was a no disqualification match. I guess Matt's taking on this GCW thing more and more as he goes along here. Chris Bay and Hikalu. I just watched this. Don't remember his damn name. They beat Thin Juice, which I was surprised at that Finley and Juice lost. I was really, really surprised the Bullet Club beat them. But again, that's what happens. So Moose and Morrissey, again, the former Big Cass, defeated Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan. I'm not surprised Eddie and Sami lost. They're not going to be a long-term tag team, whereas I think Moose and Morrissey will be. So that doesn't surprise me. Decay retained the Knockouts tag titles over Evans and Seals. The Good Brothers, of course, retained their tag titles over Rich Swann and my boy Willie Mack. Josh Alexander and Chris Sabin had an unbelievable X Division Championship match. I was so impressed with those guys. Great X Division Championship match. Remind you why Chris Sabin was one of the best in the world for as long as he was. And, of course, Christian Cage retains the Impact Championship over Ace Austin. Just a solid show. And again, if you guys have not seen Impact Wrestling in the last couple of years, I'll say couple of years. I'll go ahead and throw that as my stance. Give them a chance on Thursday nights. I know you watch an ODQ review here on this channel. You're watching ODQ, and I get that. On demand, brother. Watch on demand. It's great stuff. So then the G1 took place Saturday night for us here in California, and Sunday night, or excuse me, Friday night and Saturday night. I've never watched the G1, so you have to forgive me on some of the rules or whatever, but I'm not going to try to pronounce these names, the people I know. And again, I was watching haphazardly, and that's my choice, my fault. I will definitely do better with night 3 and night 4. A block and B block, we had Yano is up. Yano, Takahashi, Great-O-Khan, Zack Sabre Jr., and Shingo Takagi. I think Shingo I met him at PWG when he was in Ebola. They all have 2 points, and Tomohiro Ishii, Tetsuya Naito, of course I know that is, Tanga Loa, Kota Ibushi, and Kenta all have no points. Over in Block B, Jeff Cobb, Evil, Taichi, Sanada, and Okada have 2 points. Tanahashi, Tonga, Goto, Yoshihashi, and Chase Owens have 0 points. And coming up on night 3, which will be Thursday, looks like Thursday during the day in Japan, so probably earliest for me Thursday. Like I'm going to do it Thursday anyway. That'll be night 3 and night 4, the 23rd and 24th. So I will try to do better about the pronunciation. So maybe I'll have Noah come on. We'll do a recap of the latest blocks when they're done, and we'll have Noah Foster come on and help me out with that, because man, that was fugly. I apologize for that. That was really bad. So we will move on from that and put where's my little banner? There it is. All right. Back to the questions. Hi, Jeff. I was watching Peacock WWE Raw November 2nd, 2015. Did you see Becky tap out to Sasha Banks on her? Don't know what you said here, Chris. I'm sorry. I have no idea what you're trying to say. I apologize. I'm having trouble reading what you're trying to ask me. Please rephrase. Pretty please. Nick says, am I the only one that thinks Hardy might win Sunday for ratings? Nope. I will probably make that prediction official later this week. That wouldn't surprise me a bit. Caleb Vin says, Karrion Kross versus Brock Lesnar submission match. What do you think? I don't think Kross is there yet, and I'm not trying to, again, shit on Kross. Just he's not at Brock Lesnar level, because WWE hasn't marketed him to be at Brock Lesnar level. So I'd like to see it. It'd be a hell of a fight. But I think that if they feed Kross to Lesnar like a proverbial Christian of the Lions, it doesn't do Kross any good. And doesn't really benefit Brock either to beat Karrion Kross right now. Maybe with a lot more build, perhaps there's something there. But right now, not so much. Jay, I see your question. That's going to be the last question of the night, because it's beautiful. Nicholas says, do you think Alexa will win, and should she? Yes and yes. I've said for a long time that Charlotte will always be my choice, but I want to see this Alexa Bliss as the champion just to see what she will do. I want to see what she's going to do. She has piqued my curiosity as a potential Raw Women's Champion. Or champion period again. I want to see it. I do. Okay, did you see Raw from November 2nd, 2015, Becky tap out to Sasha Banks? I'm sure I did, but that was 6 years ago. I have not had... tap it on her face. Okay, that I do remember. Yes, I do remember that moment happening. I just... I don't know if tapping on her face had anything to do with the Paige Charlotte thing, but I did see it. I 100% did see that. Yes. So, all right, I'm gonna let you guys get some more questions in while I run another ad, because I want to plug my friends, because they've got a lot more stuff coming up. So We'll be back again after this word from our friends who we just saw last Friday. Paradise Kitty.
Take me down to the Paradise City where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. Whoa, we shine the light. Yeah, they're loaded like a freight train, flying like an aeroplane, speeding like a space brain. One more time tonight. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Welcome to the jungle. Watch it bring you to your Take me down to the Paradise City where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? I wanna go. I wanna know. Oh, won't you please take me home, baby?
All right. Now, let me say before I move on to the next question. Got to see the girls Friday night, ladies, Friday night at the Viper Room. I had a few people ask me that saw me, why was I so emotional? I'll tell you what. I haven't been to any kind of concert like that in over a year, right? See Paradise Kitty back home where they belong in Los Angeles at the Viper Room as they prepare for that big tour. I mean, you saw all the places they're going coming up here in the next month, because the end of the month, end of October, we've got the cruise, the Cruise. So that's going to be an awesome cap off to what's going to be a really, really cool tour for them. Their show on Thursday did get postponed, so if you are going to see them this coming Thursday, keep that in mind. Their show was postponed. We'll talk about rescheduling later, I'm sure. I actually talked to Mikey. They're going to be the Monsters of the Mountain show in Tennessee is where Dollywood is. So it's like Mikey can go see Paradise Kitty finally. I encourage that. Are you kidding me? All right. So Nicholas says, who will get pushed more, Von Wagner or Braun Breaker? It looks like Braun Breaker right now. They were really hyping him up. They gave him the big win over LA Knight. They had him in the final segment of NXT last week on 2.0. So you've got to believe we're going to see more of that coming up tomorrow night, rather. But the fact that Von Wagner was in the main event his first night is indicative that they have plans for him too. So interesting to see. We'll have to wait and see how things go with those two coming up tomorrow and into the future. He also asked me, will we see Raquel Gonzalez versus Kaylee Ray at the next NXT TakeOver? I don't see why not. They're really hammering home that Kaylee Ray was the longest reigning NXT UK champion. So why not have her be a threat to our championship here in America? I mean, it makes perfect sense to me. So again, why the ref did not call the tap out so we could have Paige versus Charlotte and bad booking if we, dude. I don't know what you're asking me, man. I need you to really rephrase your wording, because you're confusing me. I'm not trying to come off as mean, but I don't understand what you're trying to ask me. And plus, it was 6 years ago. I don't know why they did it 6 years ago. I don't know why they do stuff now. I don't. That seems a little off. I don't know why they did it 6 years ago. When they first brought those ladies in, Charlotte and Becky and Sasha, they pushed all three of them to the moon, as Cameron Grimes would say. So I was okay with Paige versus Charlotte happening. I was okay with a lot of the things that went down when the ladies were first brought in and the revolution started. So I don't see anything wrong with what went down there over the course of that few months when they first came in. All right. Looks like I do have one more question. Thank you for reminding me there. Final question from JJ, of course, and we'll see him later on this week here on the channel. You ever danced the devil in the pale moonlight? I have. I love that movie. I love that quote. It's my favorite Batman movie quote. It always has been. Although there is one from Batman Returns that he and I both love as well. So, um, who would you like to see switch brands? Next week's show, we will definitely get into that. Let me go ahead and throw that up there now. Thank you for the transition. I appreciate that, sir. There it is. Next week, right here on Talk Wrestling, you're going to have the fallout from Extreme Rules and Monday Night Raw and a full draft preview. Of course, the draft starts next Friday over on SmackDown, October 1st. And we'll talk about the draft in detail next week right here on Talk Wrestling. However, before we get to next Monday night, we got to get through the rest of this week, and it is a stacked week, kids. I'll tell you what. Tomorrow afternoon. See, for me, it's morning. Good grief. 2 p.m. Eastern, special start time, 11 a.m. Pacific, because Mikey needs a happy hour show. Apparently, he's got stuff to do. So, we're running a happy hour on the Southwest Sports Bar. We've got full NFL coverage, week 2 recap, the pick'em results, the predictions challenge champion, who that is right now, and a preview of week 3 and our new predictions challenger, and of course, Stat Boy shout out. And I just got to say, the Stat Boy shout out this week is definitely awesome. So check that out tomorrow morning for me, afternoon for y'all. Wednesday, I will not be on this show, the Greg Cherry Show, Wednesday at 7 o'clock for Pacific, because I've just got a ton of work to do, paperwork-wise, for cruise, for stuff around here, just everything going on. So I will unfortunately have to miss Greg Cherry Show, but I will also be spending that time preparing for my first title defense of the Jack of All Trades Championship in WTC. That graphic is no longer accurate. I just realized I have the wrong graphic up. Poopy. JB3, unfortunately, had to bow out. He's got other obligations, I understand. So it'll be Daisy, our buddy Daisy from let me read the damn press release that Greg put out, because I'm clearly screwing up here. With JB3 unable to participate on Thursday, replacing him will be Daisy Ruth from WFLA News, Channel 8 in Tampa. And, of course, it'll be her and, let me read the name right here, Brandon, as well as Adam Pearson, who we've talked about on the show, and myself. That'll be the 4 competitors. I'll be defending the championship. I didn't like that. I didn't say that, but yeah, okay, sure. Anyway. Okay, so before we do the title defense at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific, coming up at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific this coming Thursday, our old pal Rick Ellis will be back in the studio. We'll be talking about the West Coast Wrestling Company's anniversary show this Sunday. It is going, I believe it's going to start prior to Extreme Rules, so you guys can check out both. If not, make the choice. Go to WC, go to West Coast, please. We want to see you out there. It's going to be a hell of a day. I was proud to be part of West Coast when I was part of it. I was proud to manage Rick when he wasn't champion, and Devin when he was champion. It's going to be a great night of wrestling out in Hemet, and I look forward to seeing Rick on the channel. I haven't seen Rick in person in a long, long time, but I haven't had him on the channel since we started over a year ago, so it'll be cool to have him back on. Friday at 7 o'clock Eastern will be the replay of what goes up on the Constantine Studios channel at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, our review of Renegade's reviews of Man of Steel. And again, maybe you see I'll be a Mugbear as a guest analyst. That's coming up on Friday. Saturday at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific will be the Renegade recap, which will recap JJ's entire month, although we won't be done with the month yet. We'll talk about the DC movies he covered and a preview of what is mostly Universal Monsters, but it is a classic horror month on the Casa channel in October. That'll be cool. And again, I mentioned next week on Talk Wrestling. Coming up, we'll have our draft preview, Extreme Rules recap, and all that happy jazz. Next Thursday, September 30th, very proud and excited to welcome Alexander the Red into the studio. First time ever interviewing her. We've been chatting off and on for well over a year, or maybe even 2 now, about doing this, and I'm very excited to have her on the show. Next Friday, October 1st, JJ and I will give our choices for the greatest matches in history of Hell in a Cell as we start October. And, of course, next Saturday, October 2nd, Wrestling Rewind returns to the JEFF MEACHAM Network as Greg and I do a watch-along of the match from Halloween Havoc 89 between Fly and Brian and the Total Package Lex Luger. That's all coming up in the next 13 days. It's crazy, right? Or 12 days, whatever the hell it is. It's going to be an awesome next couple of weeks and a great October overall. I look forward to seeing it. I look forward to filming it and producing it and present to you guys. I'm very much excited. And also coming up in October, don't forget we have our buddies doing the fan films for Halloween. Of course, you're going to kill the Boogeyman and the Haddonfield Nightmare. That's all coming up in October. So, and Halloween Kills, October 15th. I am so happy. Yes, Chris, you do. Very much so. No. That will not be the case, JJ. Sorry, buddy. Got to go ahead and paywall for that one, brother. I don't control that department. Anyway, guys, have a great night. We'll see y'all tomorrow at Southway Sports Bar. Again, special start time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific for Southway Sports Bar. Until then, have a great night.